in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at something a little bit unusual. Not so much in that what it is unusual, but how it looks is unusual. Come and have a look and see what I mean. So this is a Samsung TVP 3370, and it looks like a mushroom. Some of my friends have affectionately called it the ChodeVision for various reasons. But everything just looks upside down. Where you would normally expect to have power buttons and things at the bottom, they're at the top. And it's actually a soft touch power button on this because it's a much newer, more modern set. So we also have this button here, and watch what this does. It opens to reveal a built-in VHS deck, which doesn't work. So that's going to be today's challenge, is to try and get that working. The television part of it works fine, so hopefully we don't need to touch that, although we'll do the standard checks for any obviously poor condition capacitors. This is what we think might be the remote for it, so this might or might not work. That is something that we can find out a little bit later as well. So the video recorder is actually mounted above the rest of the set itself, and it is a weird looking thing. It's really odd. The first thing that a friend of mine said when he saw it was, "Oh my god, I've managed to get a television that looks like a mushroom." Hence why it got named the ChodeVision. So we do have headphones out, we have composite in, we also have what I think is RGB in as well, so it's quite a versatile little set for what it is. I can't see any obvious date markers, but once we get the lid off, we'll actually have a look and see if we can find some date markings on the plastic moulding itself. So let's just move that to one side and we'll get in and we'll take a look. Now it does look like someone's been in here before, because I believe there should be a panel here. That shouldn't just be open like that, so you shouldn't be able to poke your finger inside, which is obviously quite dangerous if it were to be switched on. So yeah, someone's been in there before and probably had an unsuccessful attempt to try and get it to work. Anyway, let's get stuck in and let's see if we can have any more luck with getting the video recorder side of things to work. So this is a typical chassis from a much more modern set. You can tell, mainly because of the component count, it's far less than, say, something like an old Ferguson TX10. One of these two chips, this one or possibly this one, very likely going to be the jungle chip. This one is a TDA 8361, which I don't think is a jungle chip. This one is a SMH 703ES. So this one, I'll have to have a look and see what that one is, but that's, I don't think that's a jungle chip. I'm not sure if actually they are, because they look normally sized, although I think it is, having looked at the circuit diagram, I think there is a jungle chip in this. The tube is one of Samsung's own tubes. In this case, this is an A34KQV42X, and looks like it's got one of those thin neck setups, so it'd probably be interchangeable with what is in the Ferguson. This is obviously your hot stage. So there's your line output transformer. I guess that one there is your chopper transformer, and probably the chopper or mains transformer. We've got here, whoa, hidden behind that heatsink there, we have this one here. This one is a TDA 7056. What I'll do actually is I'll put onto the screen what those chips are as I read them out. That's probably actually better. And now that I've given myself that idea, I'll be following that through with, with the other chips that I mentioned earlier. Capacitors, they look okay. Although I'm going to be honest, it's a bit greasy in that area. That looks like a vertical deflector chip. So that's one of the field chips. And looking at the field coils, they plug into just there behind the lopt. That one might actually be a sound chip, judging by the fact that there's sound written on the board. Colour circuitry's over here because it says chroma, so that TDA 8361 might be a PAL decoder. There is actually a few areas on the board which are blank. If you look over here, this section here is marked TTX, so that's probably teletext. And TV MICOM, so this one here, that's the microcontroller. So you could, even without a service manual, have a pretty good idea of what you're looking at in this set, which is quite nice. Next to that chroma, actually, that's a TDA 4561. We've also got a TDA 8361, as I said earlier. Let's come around. We've obviously got the power supply, which looks pretty standard, to be honest with you. I would probably wager that some of those smaller electrolytics are dry, but I'm not going to be too concerned with those at the moment, because what I want to do is to get the video recorder side of things working. So this here is the VCR, and it is attached to the board with a selection of cables. So there's one here. So there's a total of 1, 2 and 3, I think. So what we'll do is we'll make a note of where these are, because I can look back on this video, and we will remove these connectors. And you've got these twisty things which we can undo. It's these cable management twisty things which are actually quite handy. Another one over here. And that's actually the video recorder free. So we've got a couple of screws holding it in at the top. So one here, one over here. So what I'm going to do is to get those undone, and then we can see where we are once those are out of the way. I'm going to try and wind it back a degree. So basically try and get it at the beginning of its cycle, because what might be happening is it might be loading and not able to go any further because it's sort of at the end of its entire cycle, which is a possibility. I mean, if somebody's been in here before, they may have replaced the belt but not resynced the mode motor, or they may have cleaned everything up but not properly resynced the mode switch itself, which is a possibility. So this comes out, and you've got this here which unhooks from the front flap like so. That comes out, that can move out of the way, this can go upside down, and then we can grab out these screws, which will give us access again. Slightly quicker this time because we know what happens to be underneath, which is handy. You need to be careful here because there is a bit of flex on the board at this point, so it's just worth holding it whilst you remove that screw. And you can see here you've got video lamp and the 2 end sensors there. Also got capstan motor and the spool, and obviously the head motor over there. Right, let's pop all of this out again. What we can do is we can take a look at this and see where it is in position. So that there, that's right at the beginning of its cycle. And that's right at the end of its cycle. Which also gives us access to there again to give that a bit of a clean out. What I'm also going to do is just pop these off. Seeing as the VCR doesn't work, there isn't really much that I can lose, to be honest with you. These are those weird circlips that are plasticky and quite difficult to remove. Although that one came off easier than I thought. However, getting it back on will be interesting. We'll put that over there. Do this one as well. There we go. If I hold that there, can grab that. There we go. Then I can remove this cog. And I can remove that. And then I can remove... I can't remove that, but that actually there is your mode switch under this. So under here is the actual mode switch. And I think that is where the root of my problems lies, if I'm going to be honest with you. There's actually no real sort of detent on it. It literally just goes around. And then what you have is you'll have a series of contacts under there, which when they make contact, the little switch, that will tell the deck what mode it's supposed to be in. So I'm interested to see if these actually come out. So there's a little arrow on there that lines it up, I guess, to there. Or, no, sorry, lines it up over here, which is probably the, almost like the home position for this. So there's a little pin there. This would sit on top of here, and then this would go in this way, and that would equal, yeah, that would equal its home position. And then that would go like that, and that's its fully load position, and that is its unload position. We need to see if we can actually get under here to get some of the spray in there. Now, I've tried dismantling one of these previously and I had no success whatsoever. So on this occasion, rather than dismantle it, I'm going to gently pry up like so and see if I can get the spray nozzle underneath here. There. Oh, okay, that'll do as well. That actually came off a little bit easier than I hoped. So there you go, that is the switch itself. It's a multi-contact switch. These are your little reed switches that make contact, and whichever point they make contact with determines what mode the deck is in. It does look quite worn. So I'm going to leave it to sit with that for a little bit. Give these a very light rub in with some emery paper. We'll also very gently pry them forward a little bit as well, so that they make a slightly more positive contact. And we'll do the same with these. That's actually removed quite a bit of the tarnish that's on them. So they actually look a lot shinier than they did previously. That's interesting. There we go. There we go, so that's in. Now we can pop on our little circlips and put those back on. Just going to see if I can use my totally non-existent fingernails to do them, which for that one seems to have worked, and let's see if it works for this one. Almost worked for that one as well, so I should be able to just press that down with the screwdriver, and there you go, that's in, and I think that one's in as well. So that's in its home position. So I should be able to just put this completely back into the machine. So this here is what sets everything off. So when I push that, that basically moves this slightly, and the very action of moving that starts it loading. So I think that needs to be there. That's at the very, very beginning of its load cycle. Then we have that come over like so, and then this bit of a wriggle, there you go, should lock into place, and then we can just pop the screws back in. So we've cleaned up the mode switch now. Whether that makes a difference, I'm not sure, but there was definitely, that switch was definitely a little bit grubby. So we've removed some of the pitting on the switch, and well, we've removed the pitting from the switch which it had, which is just the sort of the case of the wiper going across it. In other words, the contacts from the switch, that rotary switch. There we go, like so. And we just need to pop this back on. again like so, and then we have our screws to pop in onto the board. There we go, and I think there's one more. There it is. And there we are, I think we're in. So, just need to put this back into the chassis. So here's the chassis. And we'll go in at the front because we need to get that little, there we go, so that goes into there, like so, there we are. That sits in there. This comes to the front and down, like so. And then that is in position. Don't forget your earth, or, well, your grounding straps. There should be the smaller one and the larger one. That one's already got a screw in it, so we'll use what's already provided. Put that in. There we go, like so. There we are, and there's another few. Now, I'm going to be honest, if this doesn't work, I'm not taking it apart again. I'll just put it all back together and only use the television part of it, because the TV part of it works absolutely fine. The VCR part of it doesn't. But I have many VCRs, and there's a SCART socket on the back. There's also composites inputs on the side, so if nothing else, it makes a good little monitor. So let's put that back in. Okay, that's all of those in, and what we'll do now is we'll pop this. I'll actually go one further and put this back on to make sure that everything is covered up, just in case that was the reason why the deck wasn't working. And it seems the logical thing to do, to be honest with you, because I'm not going to be going into this again. If it works, great. If it doesn't, oh well, that's a shame. But we need it in place because it actually makes up part of the deck's control assembly, because that power button on the front won't work if this isn't in place. So yeah, there's that to contend with as well. So there's only two on the side, screw wise. And then we've got the two up here as well. There we go. Actually, I might have just realised the error in my ways, possibly, by putting that back in, because now I can't get to my connectors, so I'm going to have to take this off again anyway. That was silly. It's fine not having this plugged in. Right, so let's get these plumbed back in. That one's over here. No, it isn't. It's over there. This one is over here. And this one is over here under the tube. So have to be careful because the tube is in a currently bitey state because it's still charged up. So if I was going to be following the letter of the law, I would be discharging the tube before even coming into this area because it is going to be quite charged and quite spicy. So that is the VCR reconnected. We'll just put some of the cable management back in. There we go. I do like these twist things because they do exactly what they should. They keep everything nicely out of the way. They're really good at doing that. And they just lock together like so, and they don't actually come off. If you obviously if you load them too much, they will pop open, but if you don't, they stay twisted together. It's a brilliant, elegantly brilliant, simple solution to a problem. Right, let's get these screws for the VCR back in place. As I said earlier, this isn't coming out again, so if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's as simple as that, really. There we are. There's one. There should be another one somewhere. The other one has gone missing. We'll find it later. Right, let's see if that made a difference. I doubt it has, but I am prepared to be amazed. Okay. Doesn't seem like the set works at all now. That's good. It's definitely plugged in. Right. There's only one way that will go, and it's in that way. Excellent. So we have a dead set. Brilliant. Okay. Alright, let's see if it responds to remote control inputs. Right, we need a couple of AAAs. That should do. Yeah, we're dead. Right, okay, let's retrace my steps. So, let's unplug the set. Alright, let's turn it around. And let's get this top cover off. So, we can leave the VCR in place. But what we'll do is we'll just pop off the top cover and see where we are once that's off, because it can't really be anything else. The video recorder serves as the front panel switch for the set, so there isn't really much else anywhere else it can really be going wrong, to be honest with you. So it's going to be probably the way I've connected it back up. I've probably missed a connection, I've not seated a connection properly. It could be any of those. I may have even put a connector into the wrong socket. Also a possibility. Right, there we go. So let's just pop this off. And we can take a look at my connectors. So they look okay. Right, so connectors. Let's go to there first. So these are your connectors. Now, there's one up here, which seems a bit loose if anything, so let's just take off this cable management again. We're going to go right back to basics. I'm going to disconnect unravel everything. Okay, so everything is disconnected. So we're going to start with putting things back together. So this connector goes into here. Okay, and that also goes to here. This one is hidden away there, but it goes into there. And that's in. That goes over here under the tube. This one goes here. And that plugs into here. Over this side, we have the main front panel connector. There's only one way that will go in, that is like so. Okay, let's plug this back in. And it's on again. It's weird. Right, so let's see what happens now when we put a cassette in. So that is a good lesson of what you should do. If it doesn't work for some reason, so if after you've put something together it doesn't work, take it apart again, retrace your steps, reconnect everything, and see where you are after that. It's very likely you've got something not in properly. Now, this is the first test after cleaning that mode switch. Yeah, it's not working. Not surprising really, but it was worth a go. So there's something else wrong with the deck, I would say. Let's put this back onto here, and then we can get this sorted out again at some point. So that actually goes slightly inside the deck like so. This one comes out and over, and that just clips on there like so. And there you are. That is in place. No, it's not. It's almost in place. Oh yeah, this side. Prise it down. In you go. There you are. There we are. We might as well put those screws back in whilst we're about it. So my money is still on the mode switch, but seeing as that is probably now unobtainium, all you're left with really is just a weird looking television set with weird controls on the front. So it has its uses, but right at this sort of present time it's more of just a weird curiosity than anything else. Right, let's power that down and let's flip it around. And let's see if the remote works. So that's the remote. Might not be the right remote. That's something else you need to factor in. Still, tube is nice and bright, so there is that, I guess. Nothing there. You do have inputs, which is good. So ignore that noise bar that's going up the screen. This is actually absolutely fine. What I'm trying to do is get that mode motor to rotate so much that it actually starts working again, so it's sort of almost wiping itself clean, but I don't think the mode switch is the issue. It might be that the video lamp has given up. It's an LED, and I think you can tell if they're working if you have something that has an infrared filter removed on it, viewing it. So say a camera that's had the infrared filter removed. Probably also measure the voltage to it as well, but I've got to admit, at this stage, this is just an interesting looking television set. Not to worry. I had low hopes for it, if I'm going to be perfectly honest, and it hasn't disappointed me with hasn't disappointed my low expectations. But what it is providing us is with a good quality picture, well, reasonable quality, different input modes, analog, which obviously won't work anymore, and well, that's it really. Anyway, yeah, not really much else we can do with that one, I don't think. So that'll be going into my collection. Actually, what we can do is work out when it was made. So let's see if there's any date markings on the inside cover. No, there isn't. That's annoying. Okay, so its date of manufacture remains a mystery. Yes, a complete mystery. Okay, so I think that's it for today. If you have found this interesting, don't forget to hit the like button, don't forget to subscribe, and let me just try and exit this menu. Well, hang on a minute, there's a reset button on here. So reset just seems to turn it off. And it's not going to fix that. Oh well. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this. Bit of a disappointment, but it was worth a go. We got to see inside the VCR, so that's always quite interesting. And yeah, I think that's it. Like, comment, subscribe, all of the other good stuff. Thanks for watching, take care, and see you soon.